Right now at 5, the city of Nevada considers a tax increase for a new aquatic center.
And we've got another somewhat mild and muggy start to the day. Another hot day ahead of us as well. We'll have the latest on that forecast to get you out the door coming up.
Plus, candidates for sheriff in Vernon County turn out for a meet and greet with the public.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's now finally Friday here in the 4 states.
Yes.
July 26th for those of you scoring at home.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Here
Tomorrow is the last day of the last full week of July.
The last full week. I can't believe it's flown by. It feels like just last week was the 4th of July even.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago.
Yeah.
And here we are getting ready to settle into August, which means you kids at home got to start getting ready. Got to start getting ready. Hopefully you're making those plans a little early. It's better to get started earlier than wait till the last minute when like the only backpack you can pick from is the one that nobody wants.
Right.
You want to go now when the selection is good. You got to get the best backpack right now. And today it's going to be a decent day to go and hunt down that new backpack. Let's start with a look outside, shall we, from our camera on top of the Cornell complex in downtown Joplin. And you can see we've got mostly clear skies out there, and we're doing all right. Our camera at 7th and Range Line also looking fairly good this morning. We'll head a little further south to 32nd and Range Line. Got the bright lights of all the different businesses down there, but still looking pretty good. Future track for today, once again, is doing exactly what it's been doing the last, what is this, the 3rd or 4th day now in a row, where we could see a couple isolated showers and storms out there as we head into the late afternoon and into the early evening hours, and then we'll dry out again as we go overnight. But we do have some slightly better rain chances tomorrow. We're at 72 in Joplin, 71 in Pittsburgh. Temperatures around the region, they look about like this. They look about like average, a few upper 60s. Most of us into the lower 70s across the region. And as we head into the afternoon, we're going to be again warm. But believe it or not, technically today we're going to be about 2 degrees below normal. And we're going to be even a little cooler tomorrow. Not significantly so, but a little bit. We'll have clouds again gradually increase a bit, start to go partly cloudy this afternoon. Isolated shower or thunderstorm is possible. Our highs today, upper 80s. There still may be a couple of lower 90s, especially in our western counties. We do have again slightly better rain chances tomorrow. Again, though not everyone will see rain tomorrow, but we all will see slightly cooler temperatures. We'll break down the weekend forecast for you and when that dangerous heat returns here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, the crash in Barton County claims the life of a Rogersville, Missouri woman. 30-year-old Auburn Dudley was traveling south on State Route T when she failed to stop at the intersection of Missouri 126. Her car then traveled under a tractor trailer heading east. The driver of the semi, Patrick Wright of Houston, Texas, was not injured, and the Missouri State Highway Patrol Major Crash Team was called in to help with the investigation. Missouri Governor Mike Parson weighed in on the crash, saying in part, quote, Auburn had been a respected state team member with DSS for nearly 5 years. Auburn's heart for her children and public service inspires us all to live lives that make a positive difference to those around us. The governor went on to say he and his wife are keeping her family in their prayers. Well, yesterday, authorities responded to reports of an SUV crash at I-44 in Main Street in Joplin. When authorities arrived, they found a Jeep Grand Wagoneer crashed into the trees. JPD said the SUV was westbound on I-44 when it took the off-ramp to South Main at high speed. The SUV left the ramp and jumped both northbound lanes of Main Street, landed, and then ramped off the southbound lanes into the trees. Authorities measured the distance about 575 feet. First responders transported the male driver to an area hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. The Vernon County Clerk's Office held a forum for sheriff's candidates to answer questions. The city held the forum in the Franklin P. Norman Community Center. The 3 candidates answered questions about mental health, community safety, and crime management and explained their platform to the attendees.
Getting the deputies out there, getting with the citizens, it's a mutual effort. There's some crimes, a deputy's going to drive up on, but for most of the things that we encounter, it's going to be relayed to us by citizens, and we have to have a good relationship with the citizens to have the interaction and to help develop a way to solve the problems.
The primaries for this race will take place on August 6th. Also on August 6th, the city of Nevada is set to vote on a half-cent sales tax during the primary. KOAM's Anthony Saviello has more on what this new sales tax would be used for if passed.
We've probably been inundated with phone calls about the pool. I can remember when it closed, we had a line wrapped around the building, ready for kids to get in and use the pool, and the next day we had to close it. So it's a water loss issue. They still can't find the plumbing leak, and so it's better to start all over again.
Starting over and building a new pool isn't cheap. That's why the city of Nevada has proposed a half-cent sales tax that would help fund the project. However, it would still do more than just that.
What has happened quite a bit in recent years is that when we hire new police officers and firefighters, the salaries are lower and people come in, get their certifications, and that's a significant expense for the city. They're also aware of what these same positions pay in other cities in the area, and we frequently have been losing a lot of our people to cities in the area.
The sales tax would also add a 13% increase to the fire and police department salaries and benefits, something Mayor Knox says is long overdue.
I was a policeman in my younger days, and my starting salary back in 1973 was the same as the salary starting here. And so, I mean, that's a big disparity. Now, granted, I was at a bigger police department, but still, the fact that we're known best for training police officers to go to other cities, it's critical that we keep a stable police force, and we have an excellent police department, and they deserve whatever that we can get them.
City officials believe this sales tax would fix important issues that the community would benefit from, and they encourage every citizen to go out and vote.
Turnout is historically low in local elections everywhere, not just Nevada, not just the state of Missouri. And so it's very important that people get out and vote.
Reporting in Nevada, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
If passed, the sales tax will go into effect January 1st and will be a permanent installment. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. The Joplin Outlaws try to win their 6th consecutive game. We'll have the details. Plus, reports say there are still 1 million unsold tickets for 2024 Summer Olympic Games. And we have a hot and partly cloudy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Well, 2 different Little League baseball teams will represent the 4 states at the Midwest Region Tournament next week. Riverton won the Kansas State Championship, and the Webb City 12U All-Stars are state champions from Missouri. Webb City entered the final inning of the state championship game down by 4 runs, but scored 6 unanswered to keep its season alive and punch its ticket to Indiana. That gives the Webb City All-Stars a matchup with state champions from Nebraska in the first round of regionals. That game is scheduled for 10 a.m. on August the 2nd. It'll be televised on ESPN+. And if Webb City wins that regional, they would advance to the Little League World Series in Williamsport later this summer. College football season gets closer and closer every day. At the JUCO level, NEO is entering its 5th season under the direction of head coach Zach Crisub, hoping for a big turnaround from its winless campaign in 2023. Golden Norsemen released their 2024 schedule this week. The season begins with a road game at Butler. Then NEO's home opener comes against another local team, Independence Community College, who won last year's matchup 44-0. The Norse play a total of 4 road games and 5 at home, ending the season against Kilgore on November the 9th. In more NEO news, former Lady Norse women's basketball player Bethy Manunga will compete for Team Belgium in the Olympics. The Golden Norse Athletic Department announced this yesterday. Manunga was a two-time All-American at NEO from 2017 to 2019 and holds the program records for career rebounds and double-doubles. Members of the Carthage Masonic Lodge present a check yesterday of over $10,000, which will be used towards the construction of the baseball complex at Carthage High School. This is the result of fundraising for several months.
We had an ongoing event. It was kind of a just soliciting our membership as well as members of the community. Started that in about January and concluded that in May. And so we were very proud to be able to present that check today.
The baseball field is 100% donation. That's how we're being able to build it. And so checks like this go a long way in helping the total project come together.
July started slow for the Joplin Outlaws. They posted a 2-9 record in their first 11 games of the month. Joplin has recovered, though, and has won 9 of its last 10 and hold a 5-game winning streak, entering another home contest last night. Outlaws against the Marshals. Joplin trying to finish a 3-game sweep. Pitt State's Lucas Van Landuit gets the start for the Outlaws. He gets a couple of swinging strikeouts to escape a bases-loaded jam in the second to keep it scoreless. Next half inning, C.J. Sapicki is going to ground one to first. He reaches base on the error, then that puts runners on the corners. So we go one pitch later, and Sapicki gets thrown out trying to steal second. Back to Van Landuit on the mound, top of the fifth. And this ground ball is going to go up the middle, is the first hit of the game for Fort Smith. Doesn't faze the Carl Junction native. Van Landuit gets the win after throwing 8 innings, allowing just 3 hits and 1 earned run. Final score 4-2. Well, still to come, the UK has reported a critically low level of rare blood types. And we got another check of your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 5:17. I'm already wanting to skip ahead a couple hours on this Friday morning. And this is a live look from our camera on top of the Cornell Complex in downtown Joplin. Looking pretty good. Same from our camera at 7th and Range Line as well. We'll head a little further south to 32nd and Range Line. And like I said, anytime, working the mornings, the one thing that I've slowly gotten used to is how deserted the roadways are at 3 o'clock in the morning. Because, when we get off at 12:30, we go home, these roads are packed, and it just floors me. I'm like, where do all of these folks come from? KDOT camera on 69 at Kansas Crossing, always looking good as well, rather. So not doing too bad this morning. Future Track is going to show us the opportunity for another round of isolated showers and storms, probably starting about, let's say, 2, 3 o'clock. And as you see, though, there's not much out there. Most of us will remain dry again, but I've got some better news for Saturday as we move in. Take a look, 5 o'clock in the morning. These get their day started early for us. We'll also have a little bit more cloud cover. So even those who don't see rain should see slightly cooler temperatures. But as you can see, it's a slightly better chance of a few more showers, maybe even a couple of thunderstorms out there. Now, the good news is we're still at this time not looking at any severe weather, maybe a strong storm here or there, but no severe weather. And this is going to be a nearly all-day event. It'll be about 8, 9 o'clock before we start to clear out. And again, thanks to the cloud cover, we're going to be a little bit cooler for our Saturday, and we're going to want to enjoy it while we can. 72 in Joplin. It is muggy out there, and the winds are calm. As we take a look at temperatures across the area, again, we're about where we should be for this time of year. A few upper 60s, most of us in the low 70s to start the day, so it's pretty decent, and can't complain about that too terribly much, right? I mean, we could. Wouldn't do us much good, but we could complain if we wanted to. All right, sunny skies through the morning will be about the low mid 80s by 11 o'clock, and as we head into the afternoon, we are going to warm up, but not nearly as warm. We're going to be upper 80s. Some of us may still reach the low 90s, especially our western counties where it tends to get a little hotter. So we're going to be right about or just a pinch below normal. And again, the partly cloudy skies as we head into the afternoon. Going into the evening, though, one of the changes, we're going to start to go mostly cloudy. Later this evening and into the overnight, ahead of those better rain chances for us on our Saturday. We'll be about normal tonight, falling back to around 70 degrees for our overnight low. As we go beyond this into the future, mid 80s for our Saturday for most of us. And then we'll go average on Sunday, but it doesn't take very long before things really start to heat up. Take a look. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We're going to be dealing with that opportunity for some potentially dangerous heat. And as temperatures climb into the upper 90s and lower 100s, that also is going to give us the opportunity to see heat index values approaching 105, maybe a little higher than that. So just keep that in mind. I know we've been kind of lucky here lately. We've been doing pretty decent temperatures for July, but August is bringing summer back with a vengeance. And then as you see, we also go back into pop-up shower and thunderstorm chances toward the end of next week into next weekend. And of course, that also means those dew point humidity levels will be a little bit higher during the day as well. That's a check of your forecast. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning. British media report the UK has a critically low level of a particular blood type, O negative. The National Health Service says the national supply will last just 1.6 days. The target is to have a supply of 6 days, and the NHS attributes the critical shortage to a cyber attack that disrupted London hospitals last month and a lull in donors in the summer when people go on holiday. An NHS alert directs British hospitals to limit the use of O-type blood to essential cases, and the NHS is urging O-negative and O-positive donors to donate. O-negative is the universal blood type and can be used on all patients. It's often used in emergencies when a patient's blood type is not known. Well, if you're watching this year's Olympics and wishing you could look like those athletes, take a step back. Experts say comparing yourself to the world's top athletes is unrealistic. These competitors spend most of their lives training for this one moment, optimizing their bodies in their full-time job. Comparing yourself to them could lead to feelings of guilt or shame. However, experts say Olympians can also inspire people to set healthy physical goals while recognizing they won't likely make it to the Olympics. We all face stress in our daily lives, but long-lasting stress can affect our health, leading to physical reactions like headaches, body and stomach aches. It can also worsen other mental health problems and health conditions. Mandy Gaither has more on how chronic stress impacts the body and how to stop it.
It can be hard juggling work, family, and all the things in between.
More people than ever are reporting feeling chronically stressed. Stress that happens to all of us, but then that stress never goes away.
Chasing Life podcast host Dr. Sanjay Gupta says long-lasting stress puts your body into overdrive as levels of the primary stress hormone cortisol rise and increases the heart rate.
Could leave you feeling dizzy, could leave you feeling nauseated. If it's just short-term stress, which again we all have, then your cortisol levels will go back down. But with chronic stress, your levels stay elevated. It's kind of like leaving your foot on the accelerator of your car.
Gupta says some of the best ways to fight back against chronic stress are to get enough good quality sleep. These allow your body to relax and focus on having a healthy diet.
Comfort foods can be comforting, but also stress-inducing in the long run.
If social media or news events are stressing you out, take a break. Instead, spend time with family and friends. Gupta says staying connected is key to relieving stress. There's also relief in things like deep breathing and meditation.
One of the most helpful tools, probably exercise. Exercise releases these feel-good endorphins, and you can even tailor the exercise to your specific mood.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
In times of stress, the CDC says it's especially important to limit alcohol intake and avoid using illegal drugs or misusing prescription drugs, as use of these substances tends to increase when people are stressed. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got ourselves another warm and muggy day across the area and a few more isolated showers and storms possible. We'll have another look at your forecast when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, a local organization in Joplin is connecting homeless people with helpful resources.
And we've got another pretty decent start to the day. Mostly clear skies, another round of isolated showers and storms, and more heat and humidity. Look at that forecast. Get you out the door coming up.
Plus, the Better Business Bureau in Joplin has some advice for parents shopping for back-to-school supplies.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:29. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner, and hopefully everyone will indulge me for a moment. I came across something this morning that just kind of amused me from Fox 23 in Tulsa. There was a gentleman who went to his friend's house, stole his Xbox, his PlayStation, stuff like that, and then proceeded to list them for sale on Facebook.
Oh, fantastic.
So his friends saw these things because they were friends, and he contacted the sheriff's office. The sheriff's deputies reached out to this guy saying, hey, you know, we're really interested in buying the Xbox and PlayStation, and they arranged a meeting with him, and he took off, and they caught him pretty quickly, but just, you gotta... Dumb criminal of the day story.
Keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Yeah.
Perhaps so, yeah.
They may not be good friends anymore, but boy, you know, don't do that. Don't steal your friend's stuff and then post that stuff on Facebook for sale where they can see it. Come on now. All right, let's now take a look outside. We can see it, that it's mostly clear. All right. Looking pretty good, though, as we start this Friday morning here in the 4 states. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line. Also, not looking too shabby out there. And on the future track, it is, what, day 3 or 4 now of the same pattern setting up for the window for a few isolated pop-up showers and thunderstorms out there. Most of us will remain dry today, but some good news. Better rain chances are on the way for some of us, at least, tomorrow. We'll go over that in just a moment. 72 in Joplin, 71 in Pittsburgh, so just a hair above normal this morning. Most of us right about where we should be, though. Our average low right around 70, so not a big variance out there. Some upper 60s, some low 70s, nothing too significant. Not like we had back in, what was it, June, where we had days starting at 80 degrees and heat index values in the 90s. This is still pretty decent. We're going to be about average today. Highs upper 80s, maybe some low 90s. Again, partly cloudy skies into the afternoon. Isolated shower or storm possible. And as I mentioned, rain chances will begin to increase a bit for us tomorrow, and then our temperatures will really take off as we head into August. We'll break down all those details in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
See you soon, Chris. Well, it's the time of year where you probably noticed this webworms building big nests in your trees. Now, these caterpillars don't harm your tree. They're just eating foliage in there, and they don't eat enough leaves to cause major damage to your trees, and most build nests on black walnut trees. But if you don't like the sight of them, it's pretty simple to get rid of them.
If you want to get rid of these, don't use pesticides or anything like that. You could just take a stick or some kind of long handled tool, break up the web. They're pretty sturdy webs, but break up the web. That'll disperse those caterpillars. The birds of those trees will love you for giving them another food source.
Now keep in mind and an eye on your trees because webworms continue to feed until sometime around mid-fall. Well, parents have a list of things to worry about before school season starts, and one of those things is spending too much money on school supplies. The Better Business Bureau wants to make sure parents get the most out of their money this year before they open their wallets online or in a brick and mortar store. Their best advice for your budget: grab those big ticket items like a computer first.
Well, prioritize. So if you know you're going to need, say, a new computer, but also notebooks, all that kind of like easier stuff, smaller stuff, go for the big ticket items first, just in case they sell out. You don't want to miss that opportunity. So snag that laptop, whatever kind of, maybe a new cell phone, whatever you might need, do that first. Prioritize those big ticket items.
They also say if a place says it's hosting a back to school sale, not everything may be included in that sale. The Economic Security Corporation in Joplin is connecting homeless people with helpful resources. The Project Homeless Connect event offers people a chance to get some food, get a haircut, and learn about job and health resources. Officials say the turnout was one of the largest they've ever seen, which serves as a reminder of the significant need in the community.
Try to alleviate some of the misery around homelessness and poverty, and we're here to try to provide services and help folks ultimately become housed is the whole idea behind it, and get them the help that they need while they're in the process of doing that.
The Economic Security Corporation also provides utility and housing assistance for residents in need. Well, Pittsburgh residents yesterday voiced their thoughts on the city's plans for a neighborhood map. The city's Neighborhood Advisory Council hosted an open house at Memorial Auditorium where residents could drop by, learn about the plans for the map and cleanup opportunities, and of course give their input. The proposed map is designed to increase local pride and foster growth in the community.
Create that sense of shared ownership and community pride within our neighborhoods, but it's also going to ultimately help us with neighborhood improvement efforts, help us coordinate neighbors to start working together toward that focus, and then start working on events.
I think what's cool about today is that we as neighbors can actually help our neighborhoods out. We might have neighbors that can't do that kind of stuff themselves, and we can learn about those people and we can help them out. We can go knock on their door and say, "Hi, I'm your neighbor and I'd love to help you out with this." So things like that are coming out of today.
The Advisory Council is planning a cleanup event in the northeast quadrant of the city this fall. Well, fair season in southeast Kansas rolls on. Visitors can head out to the Allen County Fair in Iola, Kansas to take in a rodeo, live music, games, and craft fairs. This free event also showcases local businesses. This marks the 131st edition of the Allen County Fair.
It's been in my family for, as long as I've known. My mom did it and all of her siblings. So we just kind of grew up going around it, and so kind of tradition. So I wanted to get into it.
Absolutely, looks like a lot of fun. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. An oil tanker sinks in the Philippines, prompting concerns of an oil spill from the Coast Guard. Plus, Russian and Chinese bombers flying off the coast of Alaska are triggering a quick response from the U.S. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Topping World Watch. The Paris Olympics officially start today, but ticket sales may be off to a slow start. Reports say there are still 1 million unsold tickets for Olympic events, including many open seats for this year's unique opening ceremony. The official ticketing app and website are offering new tickets to fill up seats leading up to the games. Fans can also expect a very different opening ceremony this year, with the athletes' march starting the event instead of ending it. The march will feature 90 boats bringing in the athletes on the Seine River in the first ever outdoor ceremony. Well, a fast-moving wildfire in the Canadian Rockies forcing mass exits this week. Officials saying yesterday that the fire burned overnight near the town of Jasper. It was said to have devastated up to half of its structures. The town, as well as nearby Jasper National Park, dealing with fires from both the north and south. Officials detailing their struggles to fight the fire. About 176 wildfires are said to be burning across the province of Alberta. 54 of those are said to be burning out of control. An oil tanker sinks in the Philippines, prompting concerns of an oil spill from the Philippine Coast Guard. The tanker was carrying 370,000 gallons of oil when it crashed into huge waves early yesterday. It eventually sank to the seafloor after crews failed to bring it back to port. The Philippine Coast Guard rescued at least 16 crew members. An operation to draw the oil out of the tanker that's now on the seafloor could last about a week. Russian and Chinese bombers flying off the coast of Alaska, triggering a quick response from the U.S. As we get a breakdown from the Biden administration officials on the foreign military exercise, Chanley Painter has the latest details.
We are at the ready. We will always be at the ready.
We're now gaining new insights into Wednesday's joint Russian and Chinese air patrols that took place in international airspace off the coast of Alaska. The exercise marking the first time the two countries flew alongside each other in Alaska's Air Defense Identification Zone.
They didn't enter our airspace.
While officials at the North American Aerospace Defense Command say the flights were not seen as a threat, Biden administration officials say the activity is generating concerns in the midst of escalating international conflicts, especially in Ukraine.
We're concerned about the way that China continues to fuel Russia's war against Ukraine by Chinese companies taking steps to rebuild their defense industrial base.
American and Canadian fighter jets were deployed to track and intercept the crafts, which included 4 bombers. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin believes the drills had been planned for some time.
This is the 8th Joint Air Patrol organized by the two militaries since 2019, aiming at further testing and enhancing the level of cooperation between the two air forces and deepening strategic mutual trust.
The joint military exercise happening in the midst of a U.S. presidential election, with officials on the lookout for ways foreign governments may try to take advantage of the upcoming political transfer of power.
They're always testing us.
Russian and Chinese officials say the drills were not targeting any third party and were in accordance with international law.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 5:44, and in about 3 seconds, it's going to be 5:45 on this finally Friday here in the 4 states. And we are starting with a live look from our camera on top of the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. Mostly clear skies. Looking at the fog tracker, I haven't plugged it in here yet, but we might need to. We're starting to see in those same areas as yesterday some dense fog around Grove, Anderson, Mount Vernon, Cassville, right along and south of I-44, and then Iola's reporting some reduced visibility. So again, do keep that in mind. We've had to deal with the fog the last few mornings in some of these same locations dealing with that dense fog once again. Grove, though, is the worst. Looking at the fog tracker here on the side, reporting 2.5 miles of visibility. So be prepared to slow down. Use your low beams, not your high beams. Our camera 7th in range line also looking pretty good this morning as well as we head south to 32nd in range line. Not a bad start to the day. We'll head over across state lines into Kansas. KDOT camera 69 and Kansas crossing. Also a nice start to the day. Not nearly as hazy as it was the last couple of days. So we're looking a little better. We'll see for sure once the sun starts to come out. Future track. Let's head down the road. We have that same pattern again today. An isolated shower or thunderstorm will be possible. The best part out of all of this is we're not anticipating any severe weather. There's nothing out there that says any of these storms are going to be severe, and that's really good news because we don't need that, but we do need some rain. Still, most of us dry today. However, as we go overnight, see all these extra clouds out there. By the time we get just before sunrise on our Saturday, we're going to start to see better opportunities for a few more showers and thunderstorms out there. Now, again, as you can see through the day, this is almost an all-day event, but not everybody will see rain, and it won't rain where you are necessarily all day either. These storms will still be scattered. So again, Joplin, for example, had some storms in the morning, and then there's a break late morning until the afternoon when another round comes in. So it'll be off again, on again, scattered showers and storms, but they'll last with us a little longer. And as you can see, there will be a few more of them out there as well. And a couple of those storms might be a little on the strong side. But again, at this point, nothing out there saying severe weather. As we head later into the evening on our Saturday, those storms will begin to die out, and the skies will begin to clear out. Might have a few very early morning storms in our far northern counties on Sunday, and then after that, the rest of our Sunday is dry and clouds gradually decreasing throughout the day. So that's not too bad. And it's going to be even cooler tomorrow, actually, but enjoy it while you can because it's about to get really hot. 72 in Joplin. Again, muggy out there as we start the day, but otherwise looking pretty good. Temperatures across the region, we're all right about where we should be, give or take a degree or two. We've got upper 60s and low 70s to start the day. As we head through the morning, again, sunny skies out there. Temperatures, a gradual warm up, eventually low to mid 80s by about 11 o'clock this morning. And then we'll head into the afternoon. And today, again, about where we should be. Maybe a little below, maybe a little above, but upper 80s, some low 90s, and we'll start to go partly cloudy out there with, again, isolated shower and thunderstorm chances. Heading into the evening, again, we go mostly cloudy, so even though the last of the pop-up storms will wrap up, we'll go mostly cloudy, about average again, right around 70. Then tomorrow, right around the mid-80s for most of us, so a cooler day, below normal for sure. We go back to normal on Sunday, and as we head into the rest of next week, dangerous heat returns, temperatures into the triple digits, and heat index values 105, maybe a little higher than that. That's a check of your forecast. We'll be back with more right after this.
The Colorado Children's Hospital brought smiles to some patients Thursday with some help from some DC and Marvel characters. Paige Reynolds has the story.
Say Thor has stinky toes.
Marvel's God of Thunder alongside DC's Caped Crusader brought smiles to kids living with serious illnesses.
I felt like, yay, I'm superheroes because I love superheroes. Yeah. They're very nice and kind, and they were actually a lot like their characters, and they had a lot of knowledge of what they did in the movies.
This experience was all made possible by a local art studio that wanted to give back to the men behind the mask.
My family and I have been, I guess I call it frequent flyers to Children's Hospital for a long time.
Bringing smiles to children began from personal experiences.
My daughter is a special needs. She's in a wheelchair. My son is on the autism spectrum. So we go to the hospital a lot. Basically in the lobby, we started kind of having a full-blown meltdown, and out walks Captain Jack Sparrow. For me, that was one of those kind of epiphanies, like, aha, like it's that simple to make a huge impact on any kid's day.
Similarly, Thor's passions relate.
The excitement that they have, and the smiles you see sometimes from across the room when they run up and want to meet you or high-five you, and just the instant fun is infectious.
That surely was the case today for these kids here.
I really liked it here, and I liked the gifts of the paintings or pictures.
A pair of fishermen were left reeling, seeing what I did there after a very close encounter with a very large mammal that went airborne and landed right on their boat. And the whole thing was caught on camera. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
Amazing video captured off the coast of New Hampshire shows the moment a massive breaching whale lands on and capsizes a fishing vessel. Two men were on the boat when it happened and had a whale of a tale to tell.
We didn't see him for a couple minutes, and then the next thing we knew, he popped up and just landed right on the transom of the boat. Kind of just saw the boat tipping, and I said, the only way to avoid this is just to kind of jump horizontally away from it.
Luckily, a pair of boating brothers who captured the incredible moment on camera were quick to act and got everyone out of the water without injury. The boat was not so lucky, left cracked and packed with whale skin. Yikes. And from a whale hitting a boat to a boat hitting a shark. In what's being called a possible first, a research camera attached to an endangered basking shark caught the moment it was clipped by a passing boat in waters off Ireland. You can see the keel of the vessel in the background as the shark is sent fleeing to deeper waters. The video was captured by the Big Fish Lab at Oregon State University and was featured in a study published in the journal Frontiers in Marine Science. Its authors are calling for stricter enforcements on vessels that can pose a threat to marine life in the area. Finally, back on land, officials at Yellowstone National Park are in cleanup mode after a huge hydrothermal explosion littered the Biscuit Basin area with water, mud, and rock. Folks are used to seeing sudden eruptions of steam and water from the park's many geysers, such as the famous Old Faithful, which is roughly 2 miles from the scene of the explosion, which thankfully left no one injured, but did leave the area temporarily closed. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
We'll be right back. It's a tradition and nearly 100 years old. Thousands of people gathered in Virginia for the famous 99th annual Chincoteague Pony Swim. The ponies stepped into the water Wednesday for the short swim from Assateague Island to Chincoteague. Once on land, some of their herd is auctioned off. Officials say the auction is necessary to maintain a healthy pony population where the ponies live most of the year. Well, police officers in Arizona save a stranded kitten with a bucket and rope. DPS troopers save a kitten trapped near a valley freeway. Troopers responded to the scene after a man was seen leaning over the edge of a ramp near the Loop 101 and State Road 202 in Tempe. Turns out he was trying to save a kitten trapped on the side of the overpass. Troopers shut down the ramp and were able to reach the kitten by using a bucket and rope. The kitten sniffed around and eventually hopped in. The cat is now staying with the man at his home.
That's certainly an impressive way to save a kitten. You hear about the fire department, they go out and put the ladder in the tree to get the cat out of the tree. Leave it to the troopers to take a bucket and rope and get the kitten out of the highway or off the overpass. Very impressive. And we've had another impressive day out there as well. We'll have sunny skies to start. We're going to go right about the low to mid 80s by 11 o'clock this morning. And today, once again, we'll have an isolated chance for a shower or storm. The majority of us will be dry and just simply muggy. Partly cloudy skies, highs about normal, upper 80s and some low 90s. Clouds will actually increase later this evening and overnight. We'll go mostly cloudy and fall back about 70. And that's ahead of slightly better storm chances for us on our Saturday. It's still going to be scattered storms, so not everyone will see rain, but we'll see a bit more rain and a lot more cloud cover. That drops our temperatures a wee bit below normal. We are back to normal on Sunday, and it is short-lived. August starts next week, and ahead of that, dangerous heat returns. Temperatures into the 100s. We'll have heat index values above 105 and pop-up storms to close out next week. That's Check Your Forecast. We're back with more right after this.